To sew the waistband sample, I've cut out one waistband on the fold, one skirt on the fold, and one skirt just doubled. I also cut out the waistband on the fold of interfacing. To start sewing, I pinned the two backs together on the straight side, 7 centimeters from the top right to the bottom. I'm not going to sew this top 7 centimeters. I'm going to pretend I have a zipper in it. I'm going to line it up, and this time instead of sewing on the 15, I'm going to sew on the 1. So I put the needle down, the foot down. I'll take those double pins out where I know I'm going to start, and I'm going to sew 1 centimeter from the edge. So I go a few stitches, reverse back a few, and I'll just sew to the end, keeping it on the 1 centimeter seam, and then I'll reverse. Lift your needle, lift your foot, cut your threads, and then I'm going to pin and sew the front to the back. So good side, which is now the side that doesn't show the seam, and I'll pin the front to the back at the sides. You can throw pins in, or you can just hold it. It's a fairly small seam, so you can get away with holding it, but never a bad idea to pin it. And then you're going to sew that seam on the side and the exact same thing on the other side. So we'll line it up to the 1, foot down, needle down, sew a few stitches, reverse back, take out pins whenever they're in your way. Let the machine do the work, and even though there's a curve on this now, keep it against the 1. Get to the end, reverse. Lift your needle, lift your foot, cut your threads, and do your other side identical to this one, and then take it to the steamer and press it open and flat, those two seams, using the mini ironing board. So I'm going to slide the skirt bottom into the mini ironing board, the sleeve board, open the back seam with my fingers, press it, getting my fingers out of the way, and I'm going to press it up all the way. Even though it's not sewn at the top, I'm going to press it under flat as though it is, so it looks the same. And then I'll press the two side seams, open and flat, and then I'll bring it back to the sewing machine where we're going to pin on the waistband. I'm ready to attach the waistband to the skirt. So this is one of the very few times I'm going to purposely pin good to bad. So I've got the bad side of the skirt, the wrong side, and the good side of the waistband, and I'm going to line it up so that it's just a centimeter past that folded edge. I'm going to free arm the machine, and I'm going to slide this inside. Now feel free to pin this if you like, or you can just make sure your two edges are together as you sew it. You're going to sew it again on the 1 centimeter seam. Your foot is right against the edge of the fabric, needle down, foot down, a centimeter from the beginning, reverse at beginning and end. And as you sew through, make sure those two edges are together, and stop at every seam and make sure it's open and flat the way you pressed it. Stop every so often and just check, make sure those two edges are together, whether you've pinned it or not. Get to a seam, slow down, make sure it stays open and flat. And you're keeping that edge folded under that you pressed. When you get to the end, you should have a slight extension. Reverse at beginning and end. Lift your needle, lift your foot, cut your threads at the beginning and at the end. So I've got a little extension about 1 centimeter where I started, and a slightly larger extension on the other side. Now I'm going to take this to the steamer, and normally I press the seam open and flat, but on the waistband, instead of doing that, I'm going to press it up and flat. This is going to get pressed up a centimeter, and this is going to get pressed down a centimeter, so that they're facing each other. So take that to the steamer and press that flat. So I have pressed the seam at the waistband up, and at the top of the waistband I've pressed it down over a centimeter, so that the two folded seams are facing each other. Now I'm on the side that has just a small extension, about 1 centimeter. I'm going to fold it in half, good to good. I'm going to draw a line with tailoring chalk that is extending right from that folded edge of the skirt below. So it's just a 1 centimeter seam. I'll line it up at the 1, foot down, needle down, start, reverse. I'm just going to sew that folded edge. reversing at beginning and end, cutting both threads at beginning and end, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to fold it good to good in half, but this time instead of sewing right on the folded edge, I want an extension, so I'm going to sew about 1 centimeter or so from the edge. So I line it up on the one or close to it, needle down, foot down, reverse at beginning and end. Again, lift the needle and foot, cut the threads, short at the fabric, long at the machine, and then for both ends I'm going to stick in my thumb and flip it over on the one side and on the other. And then you'll notice I have the seam there. I'm going to bring it back to the steamer and I'm going to press it so that it's completely covering that seam, but also even at the same distance at the beginning and the same distance in the middle and at the end. And then once that whole thing is pressed, we're going to sew it right on this folded edge. So bring it to the steamer and press it, and then bring it back to your machine. So my machine is still a free arm and I have the clear foot on. And I've pressed this nice and evenly over about 3.5 centimeters, completely covering that seam. I'm going to slide it in. I'm going to put the foot down, not at the very beginning, but I will put the needle down about 2 centimeters this time from the beginning. And it's right on the folded edge. I'll reverse back to the edge. And then I'll straight sew forward. Now sometimes it gets a little caught. You may have to move the needle, move the foot, just to make it behave on that first thick part. And then I'm sewing right on this folded edge. So if I were to lift the needle, lift the foot and show you, right on that folded edge. And if you look at most jeans that you're wearing, it's sewn in exactly the same place. Now you can pin it to keep it even, or you can pull it at the beginning, at the top and at the end, because you definitely don't want that bunching or rippling. You want it staying completely flat. So take your time, sew right on that edge, and then you'll sew to the end and reverse a few stitches. Lift your needle, lift your foot, cut your threads, and what you have now is a waistband that is even with the fold on one side and an extension on the other. So you could choose, if you were to put a button or hook and eye or Velcro, you could have, like most pants are or skirts are, with the edge right on the fold there, or you could have the extension over it and the button showing. So whichever way, we're not going to finish it. This is as far as we need to do, but you just see how it works. So you have your waistband sample finished.